What's going on, Chiefs Kingdom? It is the bye week. The Chiefs are the AFC's #1 seed. They have a 3-game lead in the AFC West Division through 9 weeks, and they just shut down the NFL's most potent offense and held them to their lowest point total of the season. Chiefs also became the first NFL team to win a game in the United States, England, Mexico, and Germany. They continue to set records, win games, and give us moments that are fun to discuss. So we'll do that today on 10 Things.
This is KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank.
Hello, good people, and welcome to 10 Things here on KC Sports Network. I'm BJ Kissel. That is Hayley Lewis, and we've got some Chiefs information for you.
Yes, we do. The Chiefs won, BJ.
They did win. And
it's Victory Monday.
It was such a beautiful, not saying it was a perfect game, but it was a perfect start.
It was. First half was beautiful. I loved it.
But it gave you a little bit of everything. You got up early, you felt good about it. It gave you those moments that we'll get into.
Did we feel good about getting up early?
In the game or getting up early, waking up early?
I took it as you meant waking up early. Did not think
my kids get up. They don't care if it's Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday. They get my son's like, that iPad's not going to play itself before school, so he gets up.
That's hilarious.
He wakes up and he immediately goes to play because he's like, I don't get it for the next 7 hours, so he'll get up early just to get on the iPad.
But yes, the Chiefs got up early. I did like that.
Yes, they got up early in the score on the scoreboard. They got up early, and it was just a beautiful thing. And I think, like I said, you got up early, felt good, and then it was like that pressure starts to mount, and then mistakes, and can they overcome some of these things? We'll get into all of those. But I do want to shout out the Kingdom Bar and Grill for the atmosphere that they had. That was awesome. That was a really cool. It was packed. There was a line out the door as soon as they opened. They did a breakfast buffet. It was the really cool vibe, really cool atmosphere. It's great to see more people coming and checking out the new bar under new ownership and everything. But that was a lot of fun. And I know you had a mimosa.
Mimosa.
Yeah. They actually ran out of champagne because they were doing so many mimosas.
Well, I mean, I can understand because the fans were feeling it. They were enjoying it.
It was a perfect mimosa situation.
Buzz day.
Mimosa.
That's what they were calling it by the end of it.
Exactly.
Another mimosa.
All right. Before we get into the 10 things, we got to thank our sponsor for this show, Mission Taco Joint, now with 3 locations in Kansas City, including the new one out in Leawood at Park Place. You can get 10% off your order every Tuesday by mentioning KCSN, again, at any Kansas City area Mission Taco Joint. You get 10% off. Just mention KCSN. And Mission Taco also helps our Feed It Forward program with the KCSN Foundation by providing meals once a month to Hope Faith Ministries, the homeless shelter in downtown Kansas City. We go down there and help them out. And it's just a really cool partnership and really appreciative of everything Mission Taco does, both for this program, but also then for our Feed It Forward. If you're interested in finding out more information, you can check out the KCSN Foundation. Links all over the descriptions of all the content we do. So, all right, Hayley, you ready to get started on these 10? We're going to go with 10 observations.
Observations?
From Sunday's win. We're going to use
That's a good way to spend it.
Time.
I like it.
All right, 10 observations.
All right, let's roll.
Let's start with defense. Pitching a first half shutout. Chiefs defense shut out the Dolphins in the first half. It's the first time the Dolphins had been shut out in the first half of a game this season. They took a 21-0 lead to the locker room. It's the first time in their last 40 games that the Dolphins were shut out in the first half of a game, last time being September 19th, 2021 against Buffalo. And also held the Dolphins to the lowest point total of the season overall in the game. But it marked the third time this season that the Chiefs defense held an opponent scoreless in the opening half. Also happened in week 3 against the Chicago Bears. That game was completely out of hand. It was 34-0. Then week 6 against the Denver Broncos. The Chiefs defense limited the Dolphins again to the 14 points in the 21-14 victory. And the Dolphins going into that game on Sunday were averaging 34 points a game. We've talked about it. They led the league in passing. They led the league in rushing, led the league in points per game. And Chiefs defense kind of shut it down. Now the Chiefs have won 16 straight games when holding an opponent scoreless through the first half. There's a stat for you.
Yeah, it is definitely, you can't sleep on the Chiefs defense anymore. The NFL can't sleep on their defense anymore. People who have been critics of the Chiefs defense cannot sleep on this anymore. You held the #1 scoring offense in the NFL to their lowest total point of the season. And I think that you have to Also, they scored a touchdown, too. The Chiefs' defense also scored a touchdown. So remind yourself of the shutout in the first half, also scored a touchdown, being able to close out this game. They're elite, and it needs to be recognized.
Yeah, let's talk about the most beautiful play ever is what we're calling it for number 2. Because of the context, it was poetic. It was like the script writers for the NFL really nailed this one. Like, they got that one down. I don't know, it was low-hanging fruit for them, but they really got it figured out, especially with all the players who were involved, and we'll get to that. But before we talk about that play, let's add just a little bit more context just to get all of us in the mood before we talk about this play. So our fearless producer, Tucker Franklin, let's run the first clip here, and this is Tyreek Hill talking with former Chiefs Anthony Sherman and Garrett Dieter. This was back in April on 810 Sports Radio podcast. And now actually Sherman and Dieter have their own podcast called Buddy Listen. Make sure to go check that out. But here is a clip from what Tyreek Hill had to say in talking with his former teammates, Sherman and Dieter, back in April.
When the Miami Dolphins come to Arrowhead Stadium this year, guess what we gonna do? Guess what we gonna do? I hate to say it, man. I hate to throw the peace sign against y'all. I hate to do it. But guess what? I'm going to be y'all worst enemy that day. I'm going to be y'all worst enemy that day.
We'll edit that out. We'll just
you better
get rid of that.
You better change.
We won't even let anyone hear that.
Change the signals. I know every signal y'all got.
I'll give it to him. He may know the signals because overall the Chiefs' offense did struggle a little bit. So maybe there's something there. But now let's go to, if that wasn't bad enough, let's go to what Tyreek had to say this past week leading into this game on Sunday against the Chiefs.
Doesn't really matter where we play at. I mean, obviously, it would have been great to play in KC, but it really doesn't matter where we play at. You feel me? They're going to get this work wherever, though. Look, y'all ready to use that. My boy Miko called me the other day, so I'm really excited to see him, excited to see Pat, Kelce, things like that. You know, it's gonna be trash talk, but it's gonna be fun though. It's gonna be like, you know, I want to see you do good, but we're going to bust your ass at the same time, though. Like, it's going to be one of those things, like backyard football with your brothers.
They going to get this work is a line that Chiefs fans will probably be using on social media towards Tyreek there for a while. Tyreek did this to himself by setting this up. And I think Chris Jones, Haley, said it best during the week. He was like, I love Tyreek. He's all this trash talk. Like, it's all good fun, but he can still be annoyed. It's like you're one of your best friends. It just annoys you at times. Like, they can still be friends and like all of that. But I think Chris said it best when he was like, you know what? We love him, but man, he talks a lot.
Yeah.
Like he just talks a little too much sometimes. And
that's how we felt about Kent, you know?
He's not even here and dunking on him. Yeah, talk too much. We love you, Ken.
It's a joke.
But it just made what happened. And
it was beautiful.
Just perfect. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the most beautiful play ever. Chief defense put up 6 points with a forced fumble by cornerback Trent McDuffie with a recovery by safety Mike Edwards. Edwards lateraled to fellow safety Brian Cook, who ran 59 yards for a touchdown. Their group effort put the Chiefs up 21-0 with 47 seconds remaining in the first half, keeping the Dolphins scoreless through the first 2 quarters. McDuffie's forced fumble was his 4th of the season, 5th of his career. 4th of the season. 4 forced fumbles through the first half of
he's decent.
Banana sandwich. All right. Edwards notched his first fumble recovery as a member of the Chiefs in his 3rd career recovery. Cook's house call was his first defensive return, interception, or fumble for a touchdown. All 3 finished with productive days as McDuffie led the team in tackles with 10, 8 of which were solo. The defense's score on Sunday was the 14th score by the Chiefs defense under defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo. That's crazy. It marked the club's first defensive score since linebacker Willie Gay's 47-yard pick six at Denver last year on December 11th. And with Sunday's 21-14 victory, the Chiefs are 131-2 in games when producing a defensive score, whether that's a touchdown or a safety. Not going to run through the last 5 defensive scores for the Chiefs, but Haley, I don't know if there's a more beautiful play that you could have drawn up than Tyreek Hill getting the ball already trailing late in the first half and then having 2 players that you only have because of Tyreek Hill trade.
It was poetic. It was beautiful. The way it was scripted with little air quotes there. Yeah, you're right. You get Trent McDuffie, you have Brian Cook, who are here because the Chiefs traded Tyreek Hill. And of course, the strip involves Tyreek Hill. And after all the trash he was talking in, and to clarify, I love Tyreek Hill. We love Tyreek Hill. We love that he talks. He makes the game dramatic and interesting. I mean, it makes it fun.
I don't hate that. I still like Tyreek. He's the best receiver in Chiefs franchise history.
100%. And he's one hell of a player, and I love watching him play. I just don't like watching him play well when he plays the Chiefs. And I think that a lot of people feel that same way too. So watching this go down, the only thing I wish had happened was I wanted Brian Cook to throw the peace sign when he ran into the end zone. A little slight, but you know what? The Chiefs are classy. They're not like that. So I think it was. The one thing I didn't know is I didn't know Brian Cook was that fast.
Yeah.
So I kind of went. I did a little deep dive on how fast he is, and I knew that Spags loves speed in the secondary. I know they're very athletic, and I went back and I looked at his 40 time. So he ran a 4.59. And if you're going to run a 4.6 even, that means you're running at least 21.3 miles per hour the entire way.
Okay.
He ran on that play 21.34 miles per hour, I believe, for the duration of almost 60 yards. So he was running his 40 time for an extra 20 yards almost to keep that speed up and be able to score and evade all the defenders on the way there. That's impressive. I didn't know he had those kind of wheels. He took off. Mike Edwards chose the right guy to pass that to.
I just smiling thinking about it. I'm just going to let the moment breathe. I can't for the broadcast. Let's let it breathe for a minute so everybody listening or watching can remember the feeling they had as soon as the ball popped out.
How many times have you watched it?
A lot. More than I'm going to.
Did you watch it in bed? Before you went to bed? Did you watch it when you woke up? No, I didn't mean that creepy. I just meant that.
No. Yes, but it's because my kids fall asleep when I'm putting them down, and then I just play on my phone and the quiet. That's why people that work for KCSN know there's always times that they start getting a lot of emails from me. It's right when the kids fall asleep when I'm laying there. But no, it was, again, I just get a smile thinking about it. And again, it's not to be disrespectful to Tyreek in that kind of way. I think most of the stuff that he said is all just kind of in good fun.
Yeah.
It worked out for everybody. The Chiefs won a Super Bowl without Tyreek, and Tyreek Hill got paid. Tyreek Hill won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs, and never going to knock a player for wanting to go get more money. And he wanted to go get more money, and the Miami Dolphins offered him a lot more money than the Chiefs did. And he's living in a state that doesn't have income tax. It worked out for Tyreek. He got paid, most explosive player ever. He might break 2,000 yards and have the most receiving yards ever and go down as one of the best receivers in NFL history. I feel like that still could have happened with Kansas City, but he'd be making less money. You want to be in Miami? That's where he is. That's awesome. You want to run your mouth a little bit?
Love it.
Receipts will be kept.
I like it. I like the drama.
All right, let's move on to number 3. You want to take this one?
Yeah. Andy Reid, Hank Stram. In Sunday's 21-14 victory over the Dolphins. This marked Andy Reid's 124th regular season win as head coach of the Chiefs. This victory ties Reid with former Chiefs Hall of Famer head coach Hank Stram for the most wins in franchise history. Reid, who was also the all-time winningest head coach in Philadelphia Eagles history. I didn't know that. Oh, wow.
Oh, it gets better.
Joining Dan Reeves and Broncos and the Falcons, as well as Tom Coughlin and Tony Dungy, as well as the only 4 coaches to rank in the top 2 all-time wins in 2 different NFL franchises.
Yeah. Dan Reeves was with the Broncos and Falcons, Tom Coughlin with the Jags and the Giants, Tony Dungy with the Bucks and the Colts. Only the 4 coaches, like you said, to rank in the top 2 in all-time wins. But once more, with one more win, Andy Reid will pass Hank Stram's franchise record of 124 regular season wins. Just went over that. But if he does that, or when he does that, Andy Reid will become the first coach in NFL history to be the winningest coach for 2 different NFL franchises.
I'm trying to really read this to make sure I read that correct. And I didn't realize that. I mean, it's like we have a new winningest coach stat every single week.
Yeah. Those other guys have ranked in the top 2, but nobody ranks number 1 for 2 different franchises.
Which is wild.
And again, we'll repeat that just so it marinates. With one more win, Oh my God.
It'd be the Eagles.
Yeah, Tucker's with me.
Oh, I was like,
The fucking NFL
the audio go
writers have this down. I didn't even. Oh my! Because the Chiefs are, for anybody listening, Chiefs are on a bye. Their next game is against the Philadelphia Eagles, in which, if they win, Andy Reid would be
you
his
just
former.
gave everyone their story for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, or it's Andy Reid coming off the bye. Got that one. In the bank.
I'm so tired.
Everybody can just go back to every story they've written for the.
How many times we're going to ask him that?
Post. Update seriously. Check the blogs. Check some of those. I guarantee. I know what's happening. But yeah, Andy Reid. That's banana sandwich. All right. I don't know why I say that. For anybody that's going to let us know in the comment section why I keep saying banana sandwich. I've just said that.
I just heard that for the first time. Is that a thing that you eat?
I think I heard it on like Saved by the Bell when I was a kid.
Have you had a banana sandwich before? Or is it just a phrase?
I think so.
Really?
I toast it. I've had it before. I didn't really like it.
Days.
But banana peanut butter and like it.
Not a banana girl. Not a fan of the banana.
All right. Well, I'm a fan of number 4.
I can understand that. I would be too.
Patrick Mahomes.
We like him.
Cut. Oh, and Rashee Rice. Patrick Mahomes, number 4 on our 10 observations is Patrick Mahomes claims second. With Sunday's start, Patrick Mahomes has started 89 games for the Chiefs, which breaks a tie with former Chiefs quarterback Trent Green for the second most starts for a quarterback in Chiefs history. In his 89 games with the team, Mahomes has totaled 26,684 passing yards on 2,214 completions with 209 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's good.
That's it. That's going to be a short one. But love anytime we can mention Trent Green. And a quick shout out here to Marlia Campbell. For anybody who's listening to this, if you have not gone and listened to the episode of My Stories with Trent Green, where Trent basically narrates his own football journey, which I think took Marlia like maybe 4 questions to ask, and Trent just went on. It's a phenomenal listen. I've been around Trent. I worked with him for several years on the preseason broadcast, spent a lot of time around him. And there were a lot of things that I did not know about him that I learned from listening to that episode. You can find it on this channel. You can subscribe to the KCSN Storytelling channel and go and find that. We actually have a new episode of that series coming out next week during the bye week. Next Monday it'll come out. That's with Christian Okoye. But there are 2 episodes that have already posted, one with Tim Grunhard and one with Trent Green, where it's just like a first-person narrative. It's like an audiobook. Where you get to learn about their career and their ups and downs and things they went through. So anyway, quick shout out to Marlia. She's doing a phenomenal job.
She's done a great job with that.
And love Trent. So
He's my first bobblehead.
did not know that.
Yeah, I don't know why you would know that about me, but I'm sure it's somewhere in the basement boxes at my parents'. But yeah,
a few bobbleheads. All right,
fun watching him.
it's a good time for a break.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network. Make sure you download our new app. Find it on the App Store or Google Play. Just search KC Sports Network.
All right, welcome back. This is 10 Things. I'm Hayley Lewis. That's BJ Kissel, and we are on to number 5. Good wave. I salute. You wave. Huh. Twinkle wave. Okay.
With my kids, like my
Twinkle
daughter
wave.
waves like this. So this is
that's
how I
cute.
wave to people, and
Okay.
I've done it a handful of times, probably to
And then-
Tucker. And then people are like, bye, I'm like this. And then I'm like,
Hi,
oh my.
Tucker.
And I start like grabbing my neck. Oh, I did that in public. True an adult.
All right, let's go on. Number 5, Travis Kelce. We like talking about him. Travis Kelce may have only had 3 catches for 14 yards, but he made them count. With 14 receiving yards in Sunday's game, Travis Kelce reached 10,941 career receiving yards. That passes Hall of Fame tight end Tony Gonzalez for most receiving yards by a player in franchise history. He also passed Gonzalez for the franchise mark for receiving yards by a tight end. He is the second tight end. Wow, just the second tight end and second overall player in franchise history to reach 10,000 career receiving yards. And he only had 14 yards on the day.
Yeah. And he also claimed the top spot for the most scrimmage yards in that game. He claimed the top spot also from Tony Gonzalez. He is going to continue breaking all of these records.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, it keeps
I
going.
didn't even go.
Oh, yeah. It's a long section for Travis Kelce, which is amazing. He has more points in
Did
this
anything.
breakdown of this show than he did catches in the game. But he is, again, scrimmage yards and receiving yards. He's at the top of all of them. The only one that he's might not catch, he's about 2,000 yards shy of Dante Hall for like all-purpose yards because of all the return yards.
Right, yeah.
Don't know how long it'll take him to catch that. I'll say it that way. If he continues playing, but
I missed the last one. 3 receptions for 14 yards, marks his 151st consecutive game with a reception. Second longest streak of games with a reception by a tight end in NFL history.
He's 60 shy of Tony Gonzalez, so he's got a few years to catch Tony on the consecutive games of the pass reception, but his second longest active streak for a reception in a game, only DeAndre Hopkins has more consecutive catches. I think he's at 100 he's like 2 games ahead of Travis Kelce, so we're rooting for DeAndre Hopkins not to catch a pass at some point, so then Travis Kelce will be number 1.
Here I am thinking nothing much happened yesterday.
Hey, for only having 14 yards, he made him count over in Germany.
He needed, I guess.
All right, let's talk about Rashee Rice.
Yeah.
The rookie wide receiver capped off the 7-play, 75-yard opening drive with an 11-yard catch and run touchdown from quarterback Patrick Mahomes. Little nugget here, I saw stat. Chiefs have the most yards after catch of any team in the NFL.
Oh.
Pretty cool.
I felt like he played a lot more than that says. He had 2 catches for 17. Do we have a snap count on that?
Tucker can look one up.
Because I thought he was
4.
in a lot more.
He made plays in big-time situations, one of which we'll talk about here.
Am I jumping ahead?
Right now, no. Didn't have anything written down, but I'm going to talk through it because I've written about this thing and talked about it on the postgame show last night. Rashee Rice's diving. He finished the game with 2 catches for 17 yards and the 1 touchdown. It was his 4th touchdown this season. He's a rookie.
Made him count.
But yeah, his third down reception is like a 3rd and 5. Early in the game, the Chiefs were up 7-0 at that point. Chiefs offense really wasn't doing much. They'd gone back and forth and punted a few times after that opening drive that we just talked about. But it was on the next scoring drive. They faced a 3rd and 5 on the their own side of the field.
Oh,
and he dove and caught it, extended that drive, which led to the second touchdown to give him the 14-0 lead. That then the next score was obviously the game winner, which was Tyreek handing it to Trent McDuffie and Brian Cook for the touchdown. But Rashee Rice, again, it's not necessarily lighting up a stat sheet with a bunch of numbers. It's about making big-time catches in big-time situations, and that's exactly what he's already started to do for the Chiefs, and looks like he's got that trust from Patrick Mahomes. It is a big-time situation, again, to throw him that ball in that situation, and he came up with it. And I don't know if he dove because he didn't run the route, didn't cut it off the right way. There's a lot of reasons, or maybe it was just an inaccurate pass.
Yeah.
I know a lot of times people are critical of people being critical, not blaming Patrick Mahomes for errant passes and that he's always right and everybody else is wrong. Whatever it was, it led to the conversion and then a big-time moment. And Tucker is really eager to get on.
Yeah, what's the snap?
You got something?
Yeah, I got the snap count.
Let's get it.
For Rashee Rice. 41. Actually led receivers with snap counts.
He wasn't a lot.
41, and actually his last target in the game was that diving catch.
This is going to...
He didn't have a target in the second half. Maybe that's why the Chiefs...
Steve.
Hold on, do we have that coming up? No, it's not coming up. She said 48 yards of total offense in the second half.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me after watching.
Maybe it's because they're not targeting Rashee Rice.
That's why it's a question. It's a question mark. Maybe something to pick apart later, but...
Let's pick something apart right now.
Okay.
This is actually pretty good working right into this next one. Number 7, wrote tinfoil hat time. Okay. This is all me. Okay. This is all me guessing. I got no reason to believe this to be true, but it's not going to stop me from sharing it with you fine folks of Chiefs Kingdom. It's about Jerick McKinnon. I'll read the first one here. Jerick McKinnon found himself with an open shot to the end zone in the second quarter of Sunday's 21-14 victory over the Dolphins. McKinnon caught a 17-yard pass from Patrick Mahomes to put the Chiefs up 14-0. That was extending the drive that Rashee Rice had made the third down catch on earlier. There's 2:31 left in the first half. It was McKinnon's 3rd receiving touchdown this season, the 19th touchdown of his career. Completed the day with 2 receptions for 22 yards and a touchdown. He tacked on 2 rushing yards and 1 carry. You're probably like, what's tinfoil hat about that, BJ? Here it comes. So, talked about the Chiefs' offense struggling and about Andy Reid being this mad genius that holds things back doesn't show everything in regular season games. You're going to play somebody later, not showing all of the offense. If you subscribe to that line of thinking, which I do at some level,
Sure.
I do believe he holds things back. He doesn't unload everything in a regular season matchup. I believe that Jet McKinnon's usage could be one of those things that he's not fully showing right now, because we've talked about the Chiefs offense struggling with the young receivers. We've talked about the passing game struggling. We have not really seen Jet McKinnon used in the passing game in a way that you would think for a team that's struggling and trying to find some easy passes with a lot of stuff around the line of scrimmage. The reason I believe this, McKinnon had 56 receptions last year for 512 yards and 9 touchdowns. Right now, he is pacing for only 32 receptions for 278 yards. It's almost half of what he did last year. To me, this is Andy Reid holding back. Jet McKinnon knows what routes to run. I don't believe that even if the receivers are running the wrong routes down the field, that would necessarily completely affect Jet McKinnon's targets and usage out of the backfield. Last 2 years in the playoffs, McKinnon in 6 games averaged 12 touches per game. So when it mattered over the last 2 years in the playoffs, and 2 years ago, there were injury. We talked about Isaiah Pacheco getting better. There are reasons behind it. I understand that. But you're going from 12 touches per game in the playoffs in 6 playoff games of the last 2 years. It was 8 touches per game if you're just using the numbers from last year. To right now, he's averaging 3.2 touches per game on a player that, again, had 9 touchdown receptions last year. They've struggled in short yardage. They've struggled in the passing game, and Jet McKinnon hasn't been used a lot. I think it's because they're holding some things back that they're really effective with, that they want to use in big-time situations that don't happen in the regular season. That's my tinfoil hat that I feel.
I buy into that delusion.
There's some meat left on the bone with the Chiefs passing game that includes Jet McKinnon that they just haven't dipped into yet because they don't feel like they need to. And at 7-2, best record in the AFC, currently the AFC's number 1 seed. They're the tiebreaker over the Baltimore Ravens because the Ravens have 2 losses in the AFC. The Chiefs only have 1, having one of their losses be the Detroit Lions. So that's my tinfoil hat moment.
I mean, I will say the second you said it, my mind went back to December of last year. And I thought about the production that he was able to do and popping it up right here. You mentioned it, that stretch that included 6 games in between December and January. He had 9 total touchdowns. Like, recording a receiving touchdown in every single game. He also is the first running back since 1970 with a scoring reception in at least 5 straight games after that. That's...
You putting a tinfoil hat on?
I buy it. I buy it. I will buy that, and I will place the moolah on that. How do you bet, Tucker? I don't know. What do you say?
Well, ask Benny Heiss. He's our betting expert.
I put the money on that.
No offense, Tuck.
Listen, I'm not an expert. You can ask my DraftKings account. DraftKings loves it when I play with them.
Do we have DraftKings Reid in this show? Because that could
No, you
perfectly-
don't.
Oh,
No.
well,
Not
this
DraftKings
week.
this week. Next week you do, though.
Yeah. But yeah, let us know in the comment section if you think I'm out to lunch here or if you think there may be some credence to the fact that, again, Chiefs offense, passing game struggles compared to what we've seen. Now, Patrick Mahomes is 3rd in the league in passing right now. The Chiefs offense struggling is a relative term to what we've come to expect from them. I feel like that clarifier should just be a blanket statement across all content, not just for KCSN, across all Chiefs content. I don't think anyone really thinks the offense is bad. I think it's all relative to what we know they're capable of and what we've seen from Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, and a lot of these guys. It's just going to be a matter of, the young receivers stepping up and maybe getting to later in the season when it becomes Jet McKinnon time in the passing game. We can revisit this. We get to the playoffs when Jet McKinnon gets back up and is getting more than 3 touches a game.
I'm with you on it. I buy into it. We've seen it be successful, and maybe that's Reid's plan this year. See it later on.
Let's move on to number 8.
Yeah, Willie Gay Jr. Doing
Take
good.
this one, or you want me to take? You take the first part. I'll take the second part.
Let's do it. Let's break it up. One of the best games of his career. Despite the box score only giving him credit for 4 tackles, Willie Gay was all over the place. According to PFF, he was the best player on the field for the Chiefs defense, getting a grade of 92 on the day, the second best grade of his career in the regular season. What initially stands out to me was his effort. There you see him punching the ball out.
Yep.
every single play, it's like almost he just came in with a right hook.
Yeah, with Nick Bolton out too. And Willie Gay came into this banged up. He was banged up in the last game, knew he wasn't 100%, still went out there and played. And with Nick Bolton being out for the next couple of months with that wrist injury, it was going to take all those guys. Drew Tranquill,
Right.
Willie Gay Jr., Leo Chanel is getting a lot more run right now. Jack Cochran is getting some play in there. So it was going to take the rest of those guys stepping up. And Willie Gay Jr., and not only 4 tackles, but that's why I like looking at PFF, and you take the grades for, grain of salt sometimes, depending upon, what it's about. You got to kind of add context to everything. Mm-hmm. But here's the context that I think about when talking about Willie Gay and his performance against the Dolphins on Sunday, is that when the Chiefs were leading 21-14 early in the fourth quarter, and the Dolphins were beginning a drive at their own 11-yard line, the Dolphins went on a nearly 8-minute long drive that ended with just under 4 minutes, I believe, left in the game when that drive was over. They converted 4 first downs and almost gave it away. The drive almost stalled because the play you just mentioned, Willie Gay punching it out of the guy's hands, and Chase Claypool with his Dolphins best performance he's going to have as a member of the Dolphins. So shout out Chase Claypool, way to be in the right place at the right time. But then after they got the ball back, and after converting a 3rd and 6 to get into the Chiefs' 38-yard line with less than 6 minutes remaining in the game, Willie Gay Jr. sliced through the backfield, made one of the biggest plays, tackling Salvin Ahmed for a loss of 6 yards, forcing a 2nd and long. And then on 2nd and long, Spags brings pressure, brings Trent McDuffie out of the slot. Tua sees it, runs away from it, runs right into Turk Wharton, who gets the sack for a loss of 11 yards. And all of a sudden, it's a 3rd and unmanageable for Tua. He's not going to throw the ball down the field in a 3rd and 25, a 3rd and 26, whatever it was. And there was a miscommunication on that play anyway. And so it stalled that drive, which ended up being one of the biggest drives. But again, an 8-minute long drive, they get 4 first downs. They got the key third down, a couple of key third down passes to Tyreek. They were moving. All of a sudden, you're like, oh, God, like they're moving. We got to step up. They've been doing it all game. They've been doing it all year, the Chiefs defense. Who's going to make the play? And then 50 slices through the backfield, makes a huge tackle for loss. It was the right guy in the right moment to make the right kind of play for us to be able to sit here the next day and say, this is why the Chiefs defense is one of the best units in the NFL. They're not just putting up great stats. They're making big plays in big situations.
Yeah. And I think the thing about Willie Gay is also his presence, not just on the field, but off the field. And they have continued to talk about the type of leader that he is in the locker room. Spags continues to talk about the energy that he brings when he's not there. The energy is missing. You see that electrified or just exemplified on the field even more so, but you also see him as one of the guys on the sideline with the towel, always bringing it around, getting everyone amped up and hyped. And so that stuff, the intangibles, I think, are so important when you look at a player like him.
Absolutely. He's an energy giver, as Coach Reid has often described about players that he likes. All right, let's move on to number 9. It's going to be the one negative thing. There's going to probably be some swearing in this segment because it was fucking stupid. I wrote it was dumb, but
that's a better way of saying it.
Just fucking stupid. So it would be something that we'd spend a lot more time talking about today. The Chiefs lost that game.
Yes,
I think about this stuff a lot, and maybe it's just all of us being caught up in the moment of they win the game, everything's great, and we could talk about this as number 9 on a 10 observations. It's just organic. It's not designed anything like that. It's the things that people are talking about. They lose that game, Chris Jones would be absolutely under a microscope right now. And the context of everything that had led up to the penalty that Chris was called on, the late hit on Patrick Mahomes out of bounds not being called, fumbling the ball in the next play, Miami gets in great field position. Chiefs defense makes 2 great plays to force a 3rd and 20. They complete a pass for 10 yards, but Jones takes a cheap shot, gets called for unsportsmanlike conduct, extends the drive for the Dolphins to then get a touchdown. And it reminded me of Indianapolis last year where Matt Ryan, the Chiefs are up by 4 points. Matt Ryan throws an incomplete pass on 3rd and 6. Jones gets an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, extends the drive, leads to the Colts, basically game-winning touchdown. These things can't happen for a player wanting $30 million a year. And I love Chris. You're not going to find somebody who's going to defend Chris more about what he can do on the field, how good he is, all of those things. But that shit can't happen if you're asking for that kind of money in that game with everything on the line. It's letting your teammates down, letting all those things down. Now, maybe, and I have zero context, maybe he spoke about it and I haven't seen that part of it yet. Maybe it was either, I'm sure it was in retaliation or something that was going on between them. But again, it wasn't long after they took the cheap shot on Mahomes. And he didn't hit Tua, hit the lineman. But either way, I just don't know how you can call yourself and be a leader in that room and make mistakes like that could cost you a game that could very well have implications down the line.
Yeah. I haven't seen anything that he said. I haven't seen if he's even spoken to the media yet. But I think that Chris would be the first one to admit to all the things that you were saying and own it. Doesn't make it, it doesn't erase it, you know? I mean, but he has notoriously been a guy who owns those mistakes and takes the leadership role. But yeah, you're right. You can't be asking for a paycheck like that, making rookie mistakes like that, letting your cool, you know, be taken away in a dicey situation like it was.
All the guys,
it's
coaches,
unacceptable,
and staff,
right?
and everybody on that field works way too damn hard
To let that happen.
jobs to let something like that in that moment get the best of them. It's one thing if it's 1st and 10 and they're way down and they got to go 90 yards. It's 3rd and 20 and they're on the other side of the field. They're already in scoring position. And your defense did a great job of standing tall in a moment where their backs went against the wall when Mahomes fumbled it. And again, get caught up in the emotion. Everybody's pissed that the flag wasn't thrown. Andy Reid's on the broadcast, not really being pissed. I mean, he didn't look as mad as I thought he might. Does he end the play?
I never really. Sometimes, but the difference between happy
Sometimes.
the difference between happy and mad is very, you know, subtle.
Yeah.
I've seen him show emotion a few times, but it's a rarity.
Yeah, I stood on the sideline for an entire season.
Okay, well, I'm seeing
during the regular season. I saw him back.
caught on camera.
Yes.
I don't see it as much.
Yeah, no, but again, you put yourself back in that. How are you feeling? How the emotional roller coaster of a game going? You've got that play, then the fumble, defense steps up, and you're like, yes, like they did it. They backs against the wall, and then you see the flag, and you're like, no, there's no way. And then you want to be like, no, the refs are doing it again. And then you see the hit, and you're like, you freaking stupid. Like that is stupid. I want to keep talking about it. I'm not going to dwell on it anymore because the Chiefs won. Yeah. And if they didn't, probably be number one. The way that people would be talking about Chris Jones after that game if they had lost because of that penalty, Chris Jones would be as happy as anybody else that they won that game. Because then it becomes a local storyline, a national storyline, so they'd be talking about nationally, and it gets buried because they won. And it's just about what Tyreek Hill said leading up to that game.
You're right. You're right.
Go on to number 10.
It's points I can't dispute. Harrison Butker stays perfect. Back to the positive, right? That's why I'm on here, to like make it happy.
Do you want to talk? I'll give you something negative.
No, I don't. I don't like talking about negative.
We don't even talk about who's going to say what. We just put it in here. Listen, they won the game. Not going to be super negative, but that was such a big play. It's such a big moment.
I like that you take those moments. You're brave. Braver than I am. Okay, Butker's 99th career game. You're not wrong either.
Yeah, but if you're still watching, like, let us know in the comment section. If you're watching on YouTube, let us know in the comment section how much you think people would be talking about Chris Jones in that way had they lost that game.
No, I agree. I agree with you.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just curious what everybody else thinks.
I mean, it's the way that the fact that they did it, they won. So now we're not, now we get to talk about Harrison Butker.
Here's everything.
99th career game.
Butker, I got to take on. We can read through this.
Okay. 3 extra points brought his career total to 839. With one more game, Butker ranks second for most points in a kicker's first 100 games. He is 18 of 18 on field goal attempts through his first 9 games this season, which is the most games without a missed field goal to start a season in franchise history. His perfect performance yesterday propelled him past Nick Lowry for the first place spot. So yeah, most points for a kicker in first 10 games. The only one who's beaten him is Justin Tucker.
Yeah, for NFL record, most points for a kicker in the first 100 games of a career. And that's kind of my take on this, is that, we've secretly, we know Harrison Butker is good. He's been good for a while.
Yeah.
But he starts getting into the all-time.
He's that good.
Nuggets like this, it's pretty well documented. Justin Tucker is the greatest kicker in NFL history. Mm-hmm. And also to look at the first 100 games, Harrison Butker is at 11 points behind him with 1 to go. So that
Always count on him.
Eagles game on Monday night, Harrison Butker kicks 4 field goals. He's going to have the most points for a kicker in NFL history through the first 100 games.
Yeah.
More than a kicker. And we don't know how Justin Tucker's been good for a very long time.
Sure.
But may have been scoring more lately. But either way, that's still contextualizing how special, talk about with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Harrison Butker is putting together one of those kinds of starts to a career that's like best all time.
No, I think a lot of people forget how good he is and how many times we've said that Harrison Butker was a leading scorer in a game. I mean, it's true.
Yeah.
We've said that multiple times. That doesn't, I mean,
Especially
you can
when you're a
always depend on
defensive
him.
First team like the Chiefs are right now.
The only time he ever had issues was, when they switched punters, and that obviously kind of changed up things routine-wise, and then he had an injury. But outside of that, he's been just lights out. So it's nice that you can always count on a guy like that, even if it's past 62 yards.
Yeah. Shout out Butker and the whole. We talked about it before, just last year. There was a stretch there where there was more analysis of holding on field goals and extra points.
Everyone became an expert.
A history of NFL content from anywhere. But yeah, they've seemingly got through that as Butker's been perfect. Now, before we wrap up this show, I want to give you an opportunity to share with everyone something negative.
Me?
Yeah.
What negative negative? Something negative?
Yeah. Do you want to share something negative?
Do I want to share something negative? Try to think of something negative that's happened.
You're always a pretty positive person.
It's the Bills. I'm kidding.
Like, you're a positive person. You're like, camera's rolling.
You don't see me. The most negative thing. This is hard. What has been something negative? Oh, I have a really bad hangnail right now. It hurts.
That's what the people need.
I broke my finger a couple weeks ago. It's still painful. So it's getting better. Yeah.
This is like a splint.
No, it's but you can see it. It's not well. It doesn't go straight.
T's and P's. The old Moochie.
I don't know.
Shout out
I'll
Haley
come up with something. I'll come up with something.
And shout out Haley for wearing the shirt that we haven't announced. So we've got some news. No, it's good. I saw it earlier and I was like, you know what? We're gonna announce it sometime later this week. So if you're still watching this, congratulations. You see some of the new gear and new merch that we've got coming out, and there's some information behind it that's pretty cool that we're excited to announce sometime later this week. But that's one of the new shirts. So
I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. I was like, this is cute. I'm wearing this today.
Yeah, okay. Awesome. Well, appreciate everybody for listening. Appreciate Mission Taco. Go get some tacos. Go get the guac. Go order the Any Given Holiday drink at Mission Taco. Proceeds go to benefit Braden's Hope and their research and for child pediatric cancer research. Yeah, got a lot of partnerships together, and go get some tacos.
Bring you a list of my grievances next week. Okay. We'll start with them off the top. Everything that bothered me in a week.
It's coming off a bye.
Oh, I'll have
tease me with a title idea. Haley's 10 grievances she's ready to air. You got to do the whole outline.
Yeah. Okay.
Appreciate everybody.
Ready for this.
Appreciate everybody. If you're still with us, shout out you. Appreciate you. We've got Only Weird Games and KC Lab coming later today on Monday, and appreciate that. Tell your friends about KCSN. We appreciate all your support. We'll see you guys next week.